Hey, what's up, YouTuber? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 15th, it's January, it's 2026. All of that is debatable, but it's neither here nor there right now. But here we go. Trump has finally got his opportunity to invoke the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act is not something we want pressed against us whatsoever at all, but I'll tell you what, when I showed you the cover of The Economist magazine, and when I showed you the shooting of the woman, Ms. Good, this was the quid pro quo. Putting ICE on the streets was to get this going. Trump tried to invoke the Insurrection Act back in California, but the courts shot it down. So they're doing it again right now. And speaking of getting shot down, somebody else got shot last night in Minnesota. This is all playing out on the stage exactly the way they want it. This will all work out really poorly for Americans because according to news sources, according to people on the ground, protesters are breaking into federal vehicles and stealing automatic weapons, things of that nature, destroying cruisers, this, that, and the other thing. We're not there, so we don't know what's going on exactly, but that's what's being reported, and those are the actions that Trump apparently is taking. Here's what the Insurrection Act is for those that don't know.
Welcome back. Our 9 News legal expert, Whitney Traylor, is back with us now to talk about the developing situation in Minneapolis.
So just to bring viewers up to speed here this morning, another shooting last night involving ICE agents in Minneapolis. And now this morning, President Trump says he's threatening to use the Insurrection Act. I think for starters, we should explain what that act means exactly.
Sure. So the Insurrection Act is from the Insurrection Act of 1794, which actually allows the president to call in federal troops on domestic property. And so when in the situations that it is usually invoked is when there is an actual rebellion, and that means a rebellion against the country. And if the laws of the cannot be executed with the forces that we have in place. And so it's really a very high bar, it's a very high standard in which when the Insurrection Act is necessary.
We have seen something just like this play out recently in California, Oregon.
Yes.
What happened there?
Yeah, the same thing happened where he tried to federalize troops, the National Guard, brought them into both Oregon and California, and there were lawsuits, there were injunctions, and the courts ruled in favor of the states, saying, no, this wasn't a rebellion, it didn't rise to the level that would justify the use of national forces in these domestic settings. I mean, that is really frowned upon. They said it was a 10th Amendment violation, which was overriding the states' rights to do it. The governors didn't want this to happen, so he tried to do it without the governor's consent, and the court said no. And in the Oregon case, it was actually a Trump appointee who issued that decision, that federal district judge.
So it didn't work in Oregon, it didn't work in California. Let's just say that President Trump moves forward with this threat in Minneapolis. Yes. What could it mean for that state?
Well, I think you're going to see the same result. And because the question is this a rebellion against the country? And one of the shootings that the federal officer, the ICE agent shot, somebody had attacked him with a shovel and a broom handle. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, these are peaceful protests, but to the extent it's not, folks are throwing rocks and shooting fireworks in the air. So does this constitute a rebellion? I don't think so. And so I think the result is going to be the same, that a judge, and I suspect there will be litigation, and a judge is going to rule against the Trump administration. Because again, this is a last resort to use federal troops in a domestic setting against your own citizens. I mean, that is very unconstitutional, and in a very rare circumstance that would be justified.
Have other presidents tried this before?
Yes, other presidents have tried it before. Generally, though, it is with the consent. And as I said in the 740 hour, it was in 1794 with the Whiskey Rebellion, the rise of the KKK after the Civil War. They needed to use these federal troops. Bush used it in 1992 after the Rodney King protests. But of course, that was with the California governor's request. And then the last time it was used without a governor's request was in Montgomery in 1965 to support the civil rights protesters. So this is rarely used without the governor's consent.
So again, the new news this morning is that President Trump is threatening to use the Insurrection Act in the state of Minneapolis. We don't have a lot of time left here, Whitney, but what do you think the next steps are in the legal process here?
So I think there will be a lawsuit. I think they'll seek immediate injunctive relief, basically asking the court to say, hey, this is unlawful, and get the troops out. I suspect that will happen any day, and there will be a ruling quickly because it's an injunctive relief. And I suspect that the courts will rule against the Trump administration, and those federal agents will have to go out.
For the California and the Oregon situation, that took a little while to play out, because wasn't there like a lot of back and forth with that?
Yes, that took a while it was months while those troops were there, and it took a while for that to resolve. It then went to the Court of Appeals, 2 different Court of Appeals, and they affirmed those decisions, so they ruled against the Trump administration. So every court that's looked at it has really ruled against the Trump administration.
Yeah, I was reporting in Oregon at the time of all that, and it went back and forth, and even some of the appeals judges were ruling against each other. I mean, they couldn't even come to agreement in some cases there in Oregon.
Yeah.
All right, Whitney. Well, we really appreciate you coming in again here.
So these riots are happening right now, these protests, and according to the mainstream news, it's rioting, and according to the mainstream news, it's ICE. Here's the deal. It doesn't matter. If these people up here are stupid enough to actually go head-to-head with ICE, all they're doing is giving them an excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act, which has not been invoked since the LA riots, where the whole city was burned down, and shit happens. But this is crazy, and I can't help but notice this is playing directly into their hands. All these actions are playing directly into their hands. There's rumors going about. Everything is almost impossible to verify right now, but I'm trying. But there's rumors going around that the police cars are being broken into, storage, weapons are being taken from the federal agents, which is a brilliant idea, and that ICE plans on going door to door looking for rioters or illegals or whatever. But the funny thing is the government lets all these illegals in so that the government can get all these illegals out. And the funny thing is they're all on the same team. They're all on the same team. Don't fall for this. Tim Walz is nobody's friend at all. The guy's a scumbag loser who's helped make America the shithole that it's turning into. I apologize for saying it, but it's true. So you've got the governor of Minnesota threatening to call in the National Guard against ICE, which will cause exactly what they want. They showed us the cover of The Economist, and all it was war. It did not look good whatsoever at all. Trump invoking the Insurrection Act is insane because it hasn't been invoked since the LA riots, and it's only been invoked a handful of times, and it was a long time ago. 1808, Thomas Jefferson enacted it. 1831, twice. 1834, once by Andrew Jackson. 1861 by Abraham Lincoln. 1871, 1873, 1874, 1874, 1874 by Ulysses S. Grant, the Civil War thing that was going down. 1877, 1878 by Rutherford B. Hayes. 1882 by Chester A. Arthur. 85 and 86 by Grover Cleveland. 1914 by Woodrow Wilson. 1921 by Warren G. Harding. 1932 by Douglas MacArthur, 1943 by Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1957 by Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1962, 1963, 1963 by JFK, and then 1965, 1967, 1968 by Lyndon B. Johnson, 1987 by Ronald Reagan, and then 1989 and 1992 by George Herbert Walker Bush. So I'm currently in Florida right now visiting I have to visit one more subscriber down here to complete my list that I started way back whenever I left home, but got sidetracked for 2 months because of my vehicle having issues. But I'm down here right now at a compound that is pretty straightforward. It's nice to see that a lot of people are really completely prepared for this. But the funny thing is yesterday when I got down here, I'm way down by the Everglades. I thought I had no phone service because I had no phone service, but I didn't realize that Verizon was out nationwide. And it wasn't only Verizon, it was a whole bunch. A whole bunch. Like Verizon, Verizon Fios, T-Mobile, USS Cellular, and AT&T were all out at one time nationwide. You know what that is? It's the same thing as it was last time. Testing, getting ready to invoke the Insurrection Act, and then they're slowly testing to drop everything out. Certain gold and silver vendors are now limiting how much gold and silver you can buy, whether you can only buy a couple of ounces or you have to buy at least $10,000 worth, one way or the other. So the free market is going out the window. Everything, every commodity that was worthwhile on this earth is now being held hostage, basically, just like they want to hold us hostage. So like I told you, get your money out of the bank because they're going to take it. They are going towards their goal one way or the other. This is it. We just watched the president of the United States go to another country and abduct the president there and then steal all the wealth of the country. No big deal. Nothing to see here. If any other country did that, America, we'd be getting a coalition and going to war. But now there are absolutely no laws whatsoever at all, apparently. Do you see what I'm saying? These guys aren't playing around right now. I mean, I think it's really ironic that we got Donald Trump literally telling the protesters in Iran to keep it going, keep it going. Meanwhile, when we got protesters at home that are actually protesting what they believe to be a righteous cause, or they're just wackos or paid protesters, because we have no way of knowing at this point. Insurrection Act. The goal was more boots on the ground since day one. The Insurrection Act allows for that. You see what I'm saying? It hasn't been popped up since the LA riots. That's a long time ago, and that was actually a big deal, which was over another government slaying of people. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy that we're living here right now, but this is happening, and people don't seem to understand. Every time you protest against these guys, you're protesting the wrong things. Because while you're protesting all this, the government's doing whatever they want at all times, no matter what. More boots on the ground every time, no matter what. The federal government is endless, and if they have to, they'll go to the military straight up, which Trump's already shown he's more than willing to do. So we're at a strange time right now. We're literally watching. It's the first time I've ever seen the Economist cover come to life with the cargo ships as soon as the new year actually started. This is playing out fast, and it's going to continue. Straight up, no two ways about it. And another YouTuber, a fellow YouTuber, put up a video yesterday where he was equating, how do I say this?
As for the Fox 61 News at 10, I'm Brent Hartman.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Some people in West Haven are closer to relief. They say they've been hearing a humming sound outside and can even hear it inside their homes.
Well, today the West Haven Council approved the use of $16,000 to pay an acoustic firm to find out where that noise is coming from. Fox 61's 𝗍_𝗿𝗆 joins us live now. And Kay, you said you've heard that noise yourself.
So the strange noises I just did a video about a few days ago are back. And another YouTuber was equating these noises to the ones that we saw in the movie Leave the World Behind by Barack and Michael Obama. But the problem is they aren't the same. The noises that they're showing in Leave the World Behind are military grade noises that are meant to put people down. Exactly like the weapons they claimed the U.S. military used on the Venezuelan troops to make them unable to fight back. I've been talking about these things for years, but the sounds we're hearing in the skies aren't them. The sounds we're hearing in the skies are either them getting ready for Project Bluebeam, them trying to go through the firmament, or some other crazy technology they have up and over us that has to do with these data centers that are going in everywhere. I just wanted to clarify that. They are not the same thing as what is crippling people in the movie Leave the World Behind, and I'll leave it at that. These weapons were very, very different, and these are weapons I've talked about for years. Let's go back to my videos from the old days when I warned you about what good is having all your weapons, your AR-15, your AR-10s, your AK-47s, etc., if they've got weaponry that can literally make you unable to figure out how to pick your weapon up or how to fire it. Well, Venezuela just found that out one way or the other. That's why there was no pushback whatsoever at all. They deployed a secret weapon that's been around a long time. I saw at Fort Benning, Georgia, I saw one of the precursors of it back in the early 90s. So I can only imagine right now it's really, really effective and easy to use and deploy. That's why I'm even mentioning this. I'm not bashing anybody whatsoever at all. But the noises in the skies that we're hearing absolutely everywhere that nobody's investigating, nobody cares about, are very different than what they showed us in Leave the World Behind. So just keep that in mind. At any rate, it's getting late. Let me try to upload this from the most southern tip of Florida before we lose the internet again. Be ready. I can't stress it enough, guys. Richie from Boston, and I'm out.